Have you ever eaten a dish without salt? That bland, empty taste stays with you, long after you've forgotten 100 other delicious meals. Salt, often dismissed as a humble seasoning on the table, is, in reality, a strategic resource that has shaped trade, industry, and even history. Across every era, it's been the silent heartbeat behind a global food economy worth hundreds of billions of dollars. But how do we harvest over 100 million tons of sea salt every year and turn it into a core ingredient of modern civilization? That journey begins on vast, blinding white salt flats that stretch to the horizon, where nature and technology move in perfect harmony. From traditional salt pans to high-tech refining plants, each grain of salt undergoes a remarkable transformation, from raw seawater to purified mineral on your table, or even a critical ingredient in batteries, medicine, and key industries around the world. Today, join Agriculture Insight as we explore the spectacular world of sea salt, a world where every tiny crystal carries with it the weight of history, science, and the power to sustain human life. All of that and more is coming up in this video. China is currently the world's largest producer of salt, with an annual output of up to 70 million tons. With coastal salt fields spanning thousands of hectares, the United States ranks second, but leads in cutting-edge extraction technologies and advanced automation systems. Throughout history, salt has been far more than just a seasoning. It was once used as currency, a strategic weapon, and today remains a billion-dollar industry spanning continents. But have you ever wondered how salt is actually formed? Accounting for nearly 60% of global salt production, sea salt is the most common and accessible type. As seawater evaporates under the sun in shallow salt ponds, the salt concentration gradually increases until it reaches saturation, causing sodium chloride to crystallize into shimmering white layers that sparkle like crystal. An adult needs around 4 to 5 grams of salt per day to maintain blood pressure, nerve function, and internal balance. But when consumed in excess, salt becomes a silent killer, leading to high blood pressure, heart failure, kidney damage, and other serious complications. And now, join us as we begin the journey to the birthplace of salt, where sunlight, wind, and human hands come together to create the glistening white gold that has sustained civilizations for thousands of years. Every December, as the weather turns dry, sunny, and low in rainfall, ideal conditions for salt crystallization, the coastal salt farms begin a new production season. Farmers start by restoring the entire salt field system in preparation for the journey of harvesting white gold. Storage ponds, concentration ponds, and crystallization beds are thoroughly dredged, leveled, and reinforced with solid dikes to retain water. The pond bottoms are either paved with dark cement or compacted with clay to prevent seepage and enhance heat absorption, accelerating the evaporation process. A standard salt field system typically consists of 3 main zones: a settling pond to purify incoming seawater, a concentration pond to increase salinity, and a crystallization bed, where bright white salt crystals slowly take shape under the coastal sun and wind. Once the salt field system is ready, seawater is channeled into the first settling pond through shallow ground-level canals or pipelines connected directly to the sea. Each settling pond can hold up to 500,000 liters of water. Timing is crucial. Water must be drawn in during high tide to capture optimal salinity. A delay of just a few hours can disrupt the entire crystallization process that follows. There, it is held for 1 to 3 days to allow sediment, sand, algae, and plankton to settle, effectively purifying the water before it enters the crystallization stage. After this settling and filtration process, farmers use salinity meters to check whether the brine has reached the appropriate saturation level for salt to begin crystallizing. This precise measurement helps regulate the salt concentration, ensuring even formation and high-quality harvests. When the seawater reaches the desired salinity, it is channeled through small ditches into evaporation ponds, where natural sunlight and wind gradually evaporate the water. At the concentration pond, seawater continues to undergo natural evaporation under the combined effects of sunlight and coastal winds. As the water gradually evaporates, the salinity rises from an initial 3 to 5% to around 20 to 25%. This process can take anywhere from several days to over a week, depending on sunlight intensity, wind speed, and humidity. When the salt concentration reaches the optimal range of 24 to 26%, the brine is transferred to the crystallization beds, areas with wide, flat surfaces that are carefully treated with black cement or compacted clay to prevent seepage and maximize heat absorption. Here, the brine is maintained at a shallow depth of just 3 to 5 centimeters, an ideal level that allows sunlight and wind to penetrate effectively, accelerating evaporation in a consistent manner. After about 2 to 5 days, sodium chloride crystals begin to form from the bottom up, creating a bright, evenly grained layer of salt that's easy to harvest. Interestingly, the crystallization process doesn't occur as individual grains, but rather as thin sheets that can peel off in large flakes. In small-scale salt production areas, or regions where salt flats are uneven, with soft soil or sandy surfaces that limit the use of machinery, traditional manual harvesting remains the primary method. Simple tools like bamboo rakes, aluminum shovels, and hand-pulled carts become indispensable companions for salt farmers in their daily effort to collect the precious white gold. Salt is gathered into small piles, then loaded onto carts or specialized transport vehicles and moved to collection points in preparation for storage and distribution. The work demands endurance and precision, as it often takes place under intense sunlight, with the reflective surface of the salt field amplifying the heat and creating an extremely harsh working environment. Despite the laborious nature of the job, income for salt workers is often unstable, depending heavily on harvest volume and fluctuating market prices. Yet for those who have devoted their lives to it, salt farming is more than just a livelihood. It is a source of pride, deeply tied to the culture and traditions of coastal communities. For large-scale salt fields, mechanized harvesting is the optimal choice, boosting productivity while significantly reducing manual labor. Today, self-propelled salt harvesters, equipped with front blades and inclined conveyor systems, are among the most commonly used machines in modern salt production. These machines shorten collection time and improve transportation efficiency. Instead of serving merely as transport equipment like earlier models, modern self-propelled salt harvesters now integrate all key functions: scraping, collecting, and storing salt into a single machine. A front-mounted blade pushes the crystallized salt toward the center, where an auger conveyor lifts it into a rear storage compartment with a capacity of several tons. This type of machine is now widely used in large-scale salt fields across the United States, Australia, and several Middle Eastern countries, regions that demand high efficiency and advanced automation. Whether harvested by hand or machine, the salt is ultimately transported to storage areas where it is preserved before distribution. From there, it may be sold as coarse, raw salt or sent to refining facilities where it is processed into fine purified crystals, suitable for cooking and food manufacturing. At facilities dedicated to raw salt production, trucks loaded with salt from crystallization fields are driven directly to the material intake area. The salt is dumped into a receiving hopper connected to a conveyor system that transports it into the processing plant. Here, workers perform an initial visual inspection, removing visible impurities such as trash, seashells, stones, or other foreign objects mixed in with the salt. Next, the salt passes through a rotating crusher that breaks apart large clumps and loosens the material, ensuring more uniform grain size. The final stop is the packaging area, where the salt is measured into evenly portioned bags, then sealed using either heat sealing machines or industrial stitching to prevent moisture intrusion and allow for easier transportation. At this stage, the salt retains most of its natural minerals, making it ideal for food preservation, water treatment, or industrial uses such as chemical production, de-icing roads, and water softening. At refined salt processing plants, raw salt is first unloaded into a feed hopper, which connects directly to an automated conveyor system that carries it into the main production line. In the first stage, the salt is transferred into multi-stage washing tanks, where fresh water is used to remove fine sand, silt, dissolved impurities, and any remaining microorganisms. In some modern systems, the washing process is enhanced with vibrating screens and centrifugal separators, which help extract both heavy and light contaminants with maximum efficiency, without dissolving the valuable salt crystals. After the washing step, the salt is transferred into a tank or automatic dissolving unit to form a brine solution. Here, the salt is dissolved in hot water or a concentrated salt solution to reach a saturated state, meaning the highest possible salt concentration. The solution is continuously stirred to accelerate the dissolving process and improve efficiency. Next, the saturated brine solution is passed through a multi-stage filtration system to remove dissolved impurities such as calcium ions, magnesium, heavy metals, and any remaining insoluble residues. The filtration equipment may include settling tanks, pressure filters, sand filters, activated carbon filters, or the use of chemical precipitants like soda ash, NaCO3, or lime, CaOH2, to eliminate calcium and magnesium. To produce batches of pure white salt, the clean brine solution must be crystallized using a vacuum crystallization system or multi-effect evaporators, where temperature and pressure are tightly controlled. The evaporation of water under vacuum conditions causes the salt to recrystallize into fine, uniform granules. After crystallization, the wet salt crystals are sent through a centrifuge to remove excess moisture, producing semi-dry salt. This salt is then transferred to a hot air drying chamber, where the temperature is carefully controlled to fully dry the salt crystals without causing clumping or degradation. This drying process typically uses a fluidized bed dryer or a continuous belt dryer system. After drying, the salt may be cooled using air to prevent it from reabsorbing moisture when exposed to the external environment. Depending on its intended use, the salt is then ground into various particle sizes, such as fine salt, powdered salt, table salt, or industrial salt. Grinding and screening machines ensure uniformity and consistent quality of the final product. The salt crystals are separated into different sizes using vibrating screens or air classification, ensuring the final product meets uniformity and technical standards. Once refined, the salt is transported to an automated packaging line. This system can pack it into 500 grams or 1 kilogram consumer bags, as well as larger industrial sacks ranging from 25 kilograms to 50 kilograms. Each batch undergoes strict quality control checks, including moisture content, purity, iodine levels, and microbial presence. Products that meet the standards are stored and then distributed to the market. But you might wonder, what happens to all that water used in the process? Is it simply discarded? Not at all. In fact, modern salt refining plants are equipped with integrated wastewater treatment systems to ensure environmental safety. Wastewater from washing, filtering, and drying stages is treated using physical, chemical, or biological methods. Once purified, this water can be reused in non-food contact applications, such as cooling systems or equipment surface cleaning. This approach not only reduces operational costs, but also aligns with sustainable production standards. In addition to common sea salt, there are also rare and valuable types like Korean bamboo salt, which can cost many times more due to its unique mineral content and a painstaking production process that takes weeks or even months to complete. This unique type of salt originates from Korea and has been used in traditional medicine as a detoxifier and digestive aid. Bamboo salt begins with natural sea salt, but instead of being refined, it is packed into sections of fresh bamboo, which are then sealed at both ends with volcanic clay. These bamboo tubes filled with salt are fired in a kiln at extremely high temperatures, ranging from 800 degrees to over 1,300 degrees. And the process can be repeated 3 to 9 times depending on the grade of the salt. The first firing removes impurities, while subsequent firings enhance mineral content and trigger chemical reactions between the salt, bamboo, and clay. During the firing process, the salt changes color, from white to purple, gray, or metallic hues, and its crystal structure is transformed. It loses the harsh sharpness of regular salt and develops a more mellow taste with subtle mineral undertones. Remarkably, bamboo salt is highly alkaline, with a pH between 10 and 12, and is believed to neutralize excess acid in the body, aid in treating stomach ulcers, detoxify the liver, eliminate heavy metals, and cleanse the mouth. Compared to refined sea salt, which is primarily pure NaCl, bamboo salt is almost a controlled chemical transformation, crafted through traditional methods. Each batch can take several days to weeks to complete and consumes a large amount of raw material. Producing 1 kilogram of 9 times roasted bamboo salt may require over 10 kilograms of raw sea salt, along with meticulous labor. This explains why bamboo salt commands such a high price, especially the 9 times roasted variety, which can cost as much as $200, $300 per kilogram, and is often sold in small containers as a health supplement rather than used as a daily seasoning. Sugarcane thrives in warm climates, which is why it is predominantly grown in states like Louisiana, Florida, and Texas. Farmers begin the sugarcane planting season each spring. Sugarcane is planted using sections of the stalk cut into pieces, each about 12 to 18 inches long, containing 3 to 4 buds. To select high-quality sugarcane varieties, scientists conduct in-depth research in laboratories, performing DNA tests and chemical experiments to identify unique characteristics of each variety. From these studies, the best potential sugarcane varieties are selected for cultivation. After each growing season, the soil becomes depleted. It needs to be tilled and loosened to ensure good drainage and facilitate easy root development. Farmers use tractors and specialized plowing equipment, each capable of tilling several hectares of land per day. This process also helps break up the hard soil structure, allowing the roots of the sugarcane to spread and grow more effectively. Large farms typically plant sugarcane in straight rows to facilitate care and harvesting. Therefore, they use machinery to mark parallel straight furrows for planting the sugarcane. Once the furrows are made, a sugarcane planter equipped with sugarcane seedlings in a container moves straight along these pre-marked furrows. The automatic sugarcane planter places the cane sets into the prepared furrows at a depth of 1 to 1.5 meters. The sets are laid horizontally or at an angle, and then the soil is gently filled back in to protect the sets and maintain moisture for germination. After planting on the farm, key activities to ensure the growth of the sugarcane include regular watering, weeding, and fertilization. Sugarcane is a water-intensive crop, especially during its initial growth stages. There are several irrigation systems suitable for sugarcane farms, including drip irrigation, sprinkler systems, and flood irrigation, with drip irrigation being the most popular in modern sugarcane farms due to its efficiency and water conservation. The drip irrigation system uses main water lines that branch out into smaller tubes running along the sugarcane rows. These branches are equipped with emitters placed at regular intervals, typically close to the sugarcane roots. Water is pumped through these tubes and drips directly onto the soil around the roots, providing just enough water without causing waterlogging. This method allows sugarcane roots to absorb water quickly and efficiently. The sprinkler system consists of large water pipes with sprinkler heads spaced along the field, covering a large area. Water is pumped through these sprinklers, creating a spray that falls over the sugarcane field like natural rain. Sprinkler systems can be easily moved to different areas of the field, providing flexibility in watering different sections of the sugarcane crop. Alongside irrigation, fertilization is an essential process for sugarcane cultivation. The common types of fertilizer used for sugarcane contain high levels of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. American farmers use modern machinery to apply fertilizer over large areas, often in a liquid form that allows the sugarcane to easily absorb nutrients through its leaves or roots. The machinery moves along the rows of sugarcane, spraying the fertilizer in a fine mist. Thanks to this automated and modern fertilization process, farmers can optimize the efficiency and quality of the sugarcane, promoting healthy growth and high yields. Weeds can quickly grow alongside sugarcane, competing for nutrients. Farmers use modern weeders equipped with cutting blades or rotating brushes that trim close to the ground without harming the sugarcane. About a year after planting, the sugarcane is ready for harvest. Before harvesting, farmers often burn the sugarcane right on the farm. This burning is intended to remove dry leaves and unnecessary tops, making the harvest easier and more efficient. Dry leaves and weeds can cover the sugarcane stalks, obstructing machinery and slowing down the harvesting process. The fire burns off the outer leaf layer, leaving behind clean stalks and reducing the volume of unnecessary material to transport. This not only saves costs and time, but also makes the milling process at the factory more efficient as it focuses on the sugar-rich stalks. However, this method is currently under strict regulation due to its contribution to air pollution and environmental impact. Burning sugarcane has almost disappeared because modern machines can easily harvest sugarcane without much human intervention. First, the sugarcane harvesters are precisely adjusted to cut as close to the ground as possible, ensuring that the entire sugar-rich stalk is harvested. As the harvester moves along the sugarcane rows, its sharp blades continuously operate, neatly cutting each cane at the base and lifting the stalks onto an automated conveyor belt. Unnecessary leaves and tops are removed right on the machine and returned to the soil in the field, reducing the need for post-harvest processing. Next, the harvested sugarcane stalks are cut into shorter sections, ready for transport. These segments are moved into the large holding compartment of the harvester, then transferred to waiting trucks on the edge of the field, ready for the journey to the processing plant. All these steps, from cutting and cleaning to collection, are carried out continuously and precisely, thanks to the power of modern technology. After harvesting, sugarcane is transported to the sugar factory by truck, or in some places by train. The sugar production process at the factory is complex and involves multiple steps to extract, refine, and crystallize sugar from the sugarcane. Sugarcane is typically transported to the factory immediately after harvesting to prevent loss of water and sweetness. Samples of sugarcane juice from different farms are separately collected and analyzed in an on-site laboratory to determine the sugar content. The cane undergoes a washing system to remove soil, dust, and other impurities attached to the stalks. Next steps typically include crushing and pressing the chopped cane to extract the sugary juice. The chopped sugarcane is fed into large-capacity juicers to extract the sugarcane juice. These juicers typically consist of several heavy rollers that crush and press the cane to squeeze out the juice. After the extraction process, the leftover fibrous material, known as bagasse, is removed. This bagasse is utilized for various purposes, such as fuel, paper production, and the manufacture of biodegradable products like plates and utensils. The freshly extracted sugarcane juice typically contains impurities and suspended fibers. To clarify the juice, lime is added to precipitate these non-soluble impurities, enhancing the purity of the sugarcane juice after chemical treatment. The clarified sugarcane juice is heated in evaporation pans to vaporize water, resulting in a more concentrated sugar solution. This process occurs in several stages, transforming from a dilute solution to a thicker one. The concentrated juice turns a pale yellow and becomes more viscous. To initiate crystallization, a small amount of sugar seed crystals is added to the concentrated sugarcane juice. The solution is gradually cooled, allowing sugar to start crystallizing. This crystallization process can take several hours. After crystallization, the mixture is placed in a centrifuge to separate the sugar crystals from the molasses. The centrifuge spins at high speed, collecting the sugar crystals in the middle while the molasses flows out. The sugar, still damp from separation, is sent to a drying system to fully dry, preventing the crystals from sticking together and extending shelf life. Once dried, the sugar is sorted and packaged into bags or sacks for transport and consumption. Some factories utilize automatic packaging systems, which expedite the packaging process and ensure accuracy. Before leaving the factory, the sugar undergoes thorough quality checks to ensure it meets standards for sweetness, purity, and granule size. Samples are analyzed in a laboratory to guarantee the highest quality for the factory's products. The process above yields raw sugar crystals that are off-white. To achieve pure white sugar, a decolorization step is required. The solution for decolorizing is created by dissolving the raw, refined sugar in boiling water at 80 degrees Celsius. This clear solution is then heated and passed through sand and gravel filters before moving through activated carbon columns. Following this, it is centrifuged again to remove color, resulting in pure white sugar crystals. After the juice extraction, sugarcane bagasse becomes an ideal material for producing biodegradable products such as plates, bowls, cups, and other food containers, offering an eco-friendly alternative to single-use plastics. The bagasse is processed to remove impurities, then cooked into a pulp. This pulp is pressed into various shapes like plates, bowls, or food trays. Products made from sugarcane bagasse are not only environmentally friendly but also biodegradable, significantly reducing plastic waste. Additionally, bagasse is used as livestock feed, especially for cattle. Rough bagasse is typically fermented for about 2 months, similar to silage corn, making it easier for livestock to digest and reducing feed costs for farmers. Every September, as the cool autumn winds begin to whisper and the golden hues start to dominate the landscape, it's also the signal for farmers that the harvest season has arrived. Under the brilliant golden sunlight, the combine harvesters appear as sophisticated machines of modern agriculture, ready to carry out their harvesting task. With their large size and sharp cutting blades, these machines move gently yet decisively through the soybean fields, causing rows of plants to bow down. The soybeans are immediately fed into the machine, where the threshing system works with precise accuracy. Specialized parts of the machine work in perfect harmony, separating the beans from their pods without compromising their quality, preserving the color and value of every single bean. With impressive capacity, each combine harvester can harvest over 45 tons of soybeans in just 1 hour. When the hopper is full, the machine's arm extends, automatically unloading the golden beans into a waiting truck. Once the work is done, the harvested soybeans are transported to modern factories, where technology takes over the next phase of processing, turning fresh raw materials into refined, valuable products. Specialized trucks enter the factory, and immediately, bins full of golden beans pour into the feeding mouth on the ground. An underground system is ready to cleanse the beans before they are stored. The beans continue their journey on a conveyor belt into the screening system. Large fans blow strong air currents, blowing away dirt and light impurities like dry husks and leaves, which are then directed to the waste outlet above. Meanwhile, heavier impurities like stones and dirt that can't be blown away are separated using a centrifugal filtration system with different mesh layers, allowing only the standard soybeans to continue their journey. After being cleaned, the soybeans move to an automatic drying system. Here, alternating hot and cold airflow passes through, allowing moisture inside the beans to evaporate without affecting the nutritional quality or structure of the beans. Finally, the highest quality beans are poured into towering silos that reach up to several dozen meters in height, with a maximum capacity of up to 50,000 tons, preparing them for the next stages of processing. First, let me take you on a tour around the tofu factory to explore how these meat-free blocks are created. The production process begins with the preparation of raw materials. Dried soybeans are fed into an automatic washing system and then soaked in large water tanks for 6 to 12 hours. This soaking process helps the beans absorb water and soften, making it easier for the next grinding step. Once the beans have reached optimal moisture content, they are fed into a grinding system. Here, the beans are ground with a certain amount of water to create a mixture of soy milk and soybean pulp. Depending on the technology used, factories may apply a dry grinding method, which requires longer soaking times, or a wet grinding method, which requires shorter soaking times. The mixture after grinding is passed through a centrifugal filtration system to separate the soybean pulp from the pure soy milk. The soy milk continues to the next processing stage, while the pulp is sent to a separate area to be used as animal feed or made into other products such as cereal or fiber-rich foods. After being properly filtered, the soy milk is pumped into an automatic heating system, where the temperature is strictly controlled between 95 degrees Celsius and 100 degrees Celsius. This boiling process not only helps eliminate bacteria and remove natural toxins in the soybeans, but also brings out the distinctive flavor of tofu. Once it reaches the required temperature, the soy milk is immediately transferred to a coagulation tank to begin the curdling process and form the tofu structure. The hot soy milk is transferred to a large container where coagulating agents like nigari salt or food-grade gypsum are added. The mixing machine stirs the solution to trigger the curdling of the protein, forming solidified clumps. For soft tofu products, the coagulation stirring process doesn't take place. Instead, the soy milk is sprayed into long bags or square boxes, then sealed and immediately placed in a cold water bath to cool. This process helps preserve the softness and loose texture of the soft tofu, while also ensuring the product stays fresh longer. After the coagulation process is complete, the curdled mixture is placed into molds to remove excess water. Here, the press applies just the right amount of pressure to compact the curds, giving the tofu a firmer texture. After being pressed, the tofu is cooled to reach the ideal temperature, which helps the product achieve better firmness and stability. During the cooling process, the tofu is passed through a cooling system, either using cold water or air. Afterward, the tofu is cut into pieces using automatic cutting blades that are gentle yet precise. Next, the tofu is immediately placed into packaging boxes through an entirely automated production line. Before sealing, a little clean water is sprayed inside the box to maintain moisture, preventing the tofu from drying out and keeping it fresh for a longer time. After packaging, the tofu products go through a sterilization process. Sterilization is carried out using heat treatment, where the tofu packages are heated to temperatures between 85 degrees Celsius and 90 degrees Celsius for a set period, then quickly cooled. Finally, after completing the production process, the tofu is stored in a warehouse at temperatures between 4 degrees Celsius and 10 degrees Celsius before being distributed to the market. For soy milk, the preparation process is similar to that of tofu production. However, during the cooking stage, flavorings such as salt and sweeteners are added and thoroughly mixed with the soy milk to ensure a consistent and stable flavor. Once the soy milk has completed the processing steps, it is transferred to automated packaging systems where it is bottled or packed into paper cartons. For bottled soy milk products, which typically have a longer shelf life than carton-packaged ones, the empty bottles are first carefully checked using a laser scanner and washed with clean water before being filled. The modern filing system uses sensor technology to accurately measure the amount of soy milk to be poured into each bottle. After filling, the bottles are sealed and proceed to the final sterilization stage. Once the sterilization process is complete, the bottles continue on a conveyor belt, passing through a system of water sprays and air blowers to quickly cool them down before being labeled by an entirely automated system. If soy milk is packaged in a carton, it will look like this. At this point, the soy milk bottles are ready to be distributed to consumers. However, the journey of the soybeans doesn't stop here. The beans continue their transformation into golden, nutrient-rich soybean oil. From the storage silos, soybeans are sent through a screening system, where gentle vibrations help remove impurities and evenly sort the beans. The beans are then dried to reduce moisture to around 8% to ensure quality. Next, they are fed into a dehulling machine, where the soybeans are compressed between two pairs of rollers. This process cracks the soybean hulls and splits the beans into smaller parts. The mixture of soybeans and hulls is then transferred to an air separation system. After dehulling, the soybeans are fed into a screw press machine. Inside the press, the soybeans are moved forward by a screw conveyor inside the pressing tube. The final product is full-fat soy meal. After being processed in the screw press, the soybean meal is transferred to a mechanical oil press. In this press, the product continues to move along the press cage, where it is compressed under pressure. The oil is extracted through the slits in the cage and collected in a container below. At the same time, the remaining oil cake, with an oil content of about 7 to 8% and a temperature range of 120 to 130 degrees Celsius, is produced. The oil cake, which contains a high level of fiber and protein, is widely used in the production of animal feed for livestock and poultry. It helps promote animal growth and improves the quality of meat, milk, and eggs. Thanks to its rich nutritional value, the oil cake becomes an essential component of the diet for many animals, contributing to optimized farming efficiency. After filtering and refining, the oil is sent for quality inspection. Here, quality indicators such as clarity, smell, acidity, and chemical composition are thoroughly checked to ensure the oil meets safety and quality standards before packaging. Compared to other oils like sunflower and olive oil, soybean oil stands out for its low cost and high smoke point, but its higher omega-6 content could lead to nutritional imbalances if consumed excessively. It is transferred to an automated packaging system. The oil is poured into bottles, cans, or flexible packaging according to the required volume. And from here, soybean oil makes its way into kitchens around the world, becoming an essential ingredient in creating delicious and nutritious dishes. Caring for broccoli is just as meticulous and detailed. American farmers often use irrigation systems to provide enough water for the broccoli. These systems can range from simple sprinklers to huge rotating irrigation systems that can move across the fields. Rotating irrigation for broccoli is like serving each guest a handcrafted cocktail. Instead of a torrent of water, each broccoli plant enjoys a gentle rotation of water, ensuring each one gets just the right amount of moisture without being drowned. This system is very effective, promoting healthy, uniform growth and conserving water compared to traditional watering methods. Sprinkler irrigation system is also combined to water broccoli. Its cost is also much cheaper than pivot irrigation system. And when it comes to pests and diseases, that's when technology really shines. Pesticide sprayers are large machines that help protect crops from harmful pests. But don't worry, these machines are very precise, targeting only the unwanted pests while the beautiful broccoli plants are left unharmed. Alongside traditional machines, drones are also used for spraying pesticides. Over the fields of broccoli, fertilizer drones fly, gently distributing nutrient-rich granules, like artists painting strokes on the lush green canvas of nature. Weeds also need to be controlled regularly. Farmers use machines to weed broccoli without harming the plants. This machine significantly reduces manual labor and increases productivity, making it an essential tool for modern broccoli farming. After about 2 months of maturation in the fields, the broccoli heads begin to show, uniform in their deep green color. When they reach a diameter of 4 to 8 inches, it's time to harvest. The harvest of broccoli is when things really get lively in the fields, especially when it comes to bringing these beautiful green heads from the farm to the store. There are 2 main methods of harvesting. Farmers can harvest manually with the help of conveyor belts or use machinery. Each method has its own unique appeal. So join us as we explore each method in detail. Harvesting broccoli manually, but with the aid of a conveyor belt, is a perfect blend of human effort and technology. Farmers, armed with sharp shears, walk along the broccoli rows like skilled gardeners, meticulously inspecting each head with high focus. When they find a broccoli head that has reached the ideal size, they gently cut it from the stem. However, the distinctive feature here is the mobile conveyor belt running right alongside them. After cutting, the broccoli doesn't need to be clutched tightly or piled at their feet. Instead, it is placed directly onto the conveyor belt, attached to a slowly moving tractor. The conveyor takes on the task of transporting the broccoli to a large container at the back of a truck, minimizing the need for manual labor. This system not only makes the work easier, but also optimizes productivity, ensuring each broccoli head is handled carefully and quickly. For large fields or when farmers want to save time, a harvesting machine is the optimal choice. Imagine this as a miraculous machine that can harvest rows of broccoli in the blink of an eye. The harvesting machine rolls across the field with mechanical arms like giant fingers, gently gripping each broccoli plant at the base. Then, a decisive cut separates the plant from its roots and lifts it onto a separate conveyor belt. This conveyor belt moves the broccoli to an on-machine sorting area. Here, farmers wait to inspect each broccoli head and remove any unnecessary outer leaves. The process is very quick and efficient as they continue to move along the conveyor and into a container at the back of the truck. Besides, robotic broccoli harvesting represents a breakthrough in modern agriculture. The machine is equipped with smart sensors that precisely identify broccoli heads that have reached the ideal size and ripeness. Upon detection, the robot moves to the broccoli heads and automatically cuts them from the stem quickly and gently, also removing any unnecessary leaves. All harvested broccoli is then transported directly into a container, ready for the next sorting and packaging stage. After broccoli is harvested, it undergoes an immediate cooling process using crushed ice to preserve its freshness and quality. This method, known as hydro-cooling, involves packing the broccoli in containers filled with ice to rapidly lower its temperature. The ice not only helps retain the vegetable's vibrant green color and crisp texture, but also prevents spoilage by slowing down enzymatic activity and bacterial growth. This step is crucial to ensure the broccoli stays fresh and nutritious during transportation to markets and consumers. After harvesting, the broccoli heads begin their journey at the processing plant, with the first step being sorting. Broccoli heads are placed on a conveyor belt where workers carefully inspect and sort them based on size, color, and quality. Only the freshest and most uniform broccoli heads continue to the next step. The broccoli heads are trimmed to remove excess stems, ensuring they meet size and shape standards for packaging. This step also helps maintain uniformity for easier handling and presentation. Larger broccoli heads are chopped into smaller florets using precise cutting machines, or can also be packaged directly. The processed broccoli is then carefully packed into airtight bags or containers to preserve freshness. These packages are sealed and labeled, ready for distribution to markets, direct delivery to supermarkets by truck. Alongside broccoli, cauliflower is undoubtedly a familiar sight at your dining table, right? Achieving a perfect head of cauliflower is a challenging process for farmers. The cultivation and care of cauliflower are very similar to that of broccoli, with no significant differences. Cauliflower has a longer growing period than broccoli, about 3 months. It features a creamy white, round, dense, and firm head. Let's see how it differs from broccoli at the harvesting stage. Harvesting cauliflower manually, but with conveyor belt support, is a perfect combination of human precision and modern technology. Farmers, wielding sharp knives or shears, move down the rows of cauliflower like fruit sculpting chefs, inspecting each head to ensure they have reached the perfect size and pure white color. Once a standard head is found, they gently cut it from the stem. The highlight of this process is the mobile conveyor belt running alongside them. After cutting, the cauliflower heads are not piled at their feet or carried on shoulders. Instead, they are placed directly onto the conveyor belt attached to a slowly moving tractor. The conveyor transports the cauliflower heads to a large container at the back of a truck, reducing manual labor and ensuring smooth, gentle transportation. This system saves time and effort while ensuring each head of cauliflower is handled carefully and cleanly, ready for the journey from the field to the consumer's table. Cauliflower can be packaged directly at the farm. Here, on large conveyor belts, graders on trucks receive the cauliflowers and cut off the excess leaves, then directly package them with packaging and arrange them neatly into boxes. Some other conveyor harvesters can directly divide the cauliflower into small pieces with a specialized cutting part, making the harvesting process easier. The process of mechanically harvesting cauliflower is completely similar to that of broccoli. The machine has a component that gently grips each cauliflower plant at the base. A decisive cut then separates the plant from its roots and lifts it onto a separate conveyor belt. The process is very fast and efficient. So, you now have an overview of how American farmers plant and harvest millions of tons of broccoli and cauliflower each year. If you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to leave them below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to explore more fascinating facts about the world of agriculture. Goodbye, and see you in the next videos.